Have you ever wondered why ancient tombs, sealed for thousands of years, still spark fear, superstition, and spine-tingling mystery? Why stories of curses follow the footsteps of every explorer reckless enough to open a pharaoh's tomb? Well, grab your torch and archaeology hat, because today we're diving deep into one of the most famous legends of all time. The Curse of the Pharaohs, where history meets the supernatural, and science bumps awkwardly into ancient magic. Hit that like button so no curses follow you home, and let's enter the tomb. The Curse of the Pharaohs. The legend of the Pharaoh's curse isn't just some dusty old tale whispered among archaeologists, or something Hollywood cooked up for adventure movies. Its roots stretch back to the moment Western explorers first plunged into the royal tombs of ancient Egypt, and it all begins with arguably the most famous archaeological discovery in history, the tomb of King Tutankhamun. But before we get to the curse, let's set the stage. For thousands of years, Egyptian pharaohs were buried in elaborate tombs filled with treasures, protective spells, and sacred rituals. These weren't just graves, they were gateways to the afterlife, carefully constructed so nothing and no one disturbed the king's journey to eternity. Ancient Egyptians believed that anyone who violated a tomb would face divine retribution. In fact, some tombs were inscribed with warnings: "Death shall come on swift wings to him who disturbs the peace of the king." Creepy, I know. But, were these warnings meant literally, or just a psychological security system to scare off grave robbers? For centuries we didn't have proof either way. That is, until 1922. When archaeologist Howard Carter discovered Tutankhamun's tomb after years of searching, the world went wild. Picture it, over 5,000 artifacts, solid gold everywhere, walls painted with gods, demons, and ancient spells, the best-preserved royal tomb ever found. But the excitement didn't last long, because within months of the discovery, things took a dark, eerie turn. It started with the expedition's financial backer, Lord Carnarvon. He dies suddenly, just months after the tomb was opened, from a mosquito bite that became infected. Coincidence? Maybe. But then the media got involved. Pharaoh's curse strikes. Mysterious death follows tomb opening. The world ate it up. Before long, every unusual death, every illness, every accident involving anyone even remotely connected to the dig became part of this spiraling, chilling narrative. The pharaoh had awakened, and, he was angry. So let's talk about the spooky stuff, because honestly, some of these stories are weird. Story number 1, the dog that howled at midnight. On the night Lord Carnarvon died, his dog reportedly began howling back home in England, then collapsed dead. Coincidence number 1. Story number 2, the lights go out. At the exact moment Carnarvon died in Cairo, the lights across the entire city supposedly went out. Coincidence number 2. Story number 3, the cobra that ate Carter's canary. Howard Carter kept a small yellow canary at his house. After the tomb's opening, a cobra, the symbol of Egyptian royalty, found its way in and swallowed the bird. This was seen as a supernatural warning. The royal serpent had claimed its first victim. Story number 4, the curse count. Over the next decade, several people associated with the excavation died under various circumstances: pneumonia, infections, accidents, strokes. Soon newspapers claimed as many as 20 victims of the pharaoh's wrath. It didn't matter that many were old, or that some weren't even in Egypt. The story had momentum. Hollywood jumped on it. Novelists exploited it. People whispered it in London cafes. The curse, it seemed, had come to life. Alright. Deep breath. Let's step back into reality for a second. Is it possible, even a little bit, that a 3,000-year-old pharaoh could have killed people from beyond the grave? Here's where it gets interesting. Scientific explanation number 1, tomb bacteria and mold. Tombs sealed for thousands of years can brew up some nasty stuff. Scientists have found toxic mold spores, bacteria like Aspergillus flavus, and deadly gases from decaying organic materials. Breathing this in can cause respiratory illness, fever, and even organ failure. Could this explain some of the deaths? Absolutely. Did it kill Lord Carnarvon? His infection was from a mosquito bite, not tomb mold, so maybe not. Scientific explanation number 2. Arsenic on walls. Some tombs contain traces of arsenic, which ancient Egyptians may have used to deter grave robbers. Touch the wrong surface long enough, and it becomes a real danger. Scientific explanation number 3. Media hype. Newspapers in the 1920s were hungry for sensational stories. A supernatural curse that practically wrote itself. Many victims of the curse were healthy, lived long lives, or honestly, weren't even involved in opening the tomb. Howard Carter himself, the man most responsible for disturbing the tomb, lived to age 64 and died of lymphoma, not ancient magic. Yet none of this stopped the public imagination, because deep down, people want to believe in mysteries. So why does this legend refuse to die? Why does every new tomb discovery, whether in Egypt, China, or South America, come packaged with warnings of a curse? Reason number 1. Humans love forbidden knowledge. There's just something irresistible about hidden rooms, ancient secrets, and the idea that some things were never meant to be uncovered. Every great story has a warning. Don't open the box. Don't break the seal. Don't disturb the dead. We're drawn to danger. Reason number 2. Ancient Egypt already feels magical. Think about it. Pyramids, mummification, hieroglyphs, gods with falcon heads and sun discs. It's a culture that already feels supernatural. A curse fits right in. Reason number 3. Mystery makes history more fun. Let's be honest, the curse is just really good storytelling. Without it, Tutankhamun's discovery would still be amazing. But, add a little supernatural spice, now it becomes unforgettable. Now here's where things get fun again. Even with scientific explanations, a few details still give people goosebumps. The inscription problem. Tutankhamun's tomb does not have a curse carved into its walls, but other tombs do. One reads, "All men who enter this tomb will be cursed." Blunt, simple, straight to the point. Electromagnetic anomalies. Modern researchers using equipment in certain tombs have reported strange electromagnetic fluctuations, nothing supernatural necessarily, but odd. There was a strange pattern of deaths. Although a lot of it was probably exaggerated, some of the deaths around Tutankhamun's discovery were, honestly, abrupt and pretty unusual. Nothing ever turned up as conclusive proof, but, it was just enough to keep the mythology alive. Ironically, the real curse might not be supernatural at all. It could actually be the curse of modern curiosity, greed, and, the destruction of history itself. Explorers blasted open tombs, artifacts were stolen, sold, or smuggled, mummies were even unwrapped just for parlor entertainment. Entire cemeteries were looted back in the 1800s. Some mummies were, believe it or not, ground into powder and sold as medicine. For many Egyptians, both ancient and modern, the true curse is what happens when the dead aren't respected. And maybe, just maybe, that's the warning the ancients wanted us to remember. So, here's the truth. If you open a pharaoh's tomb today, you probably won't be struck down by a ghostly king wielding desert lightning or anything like that. But, you might stir up some toxic mold. You might trigger bacteria. You could even breathe in air that hasn't been touched since the Bronze Age. And for sure, you'll absolutely attract the wrath of archaeologists, historians, and the Egyptian government. So yes, the curse may not be magical, but it's definitely real, in its own way. So, what do you think? Is the curse of the pharaohs just a myth born from superstition and media hype? Or is there something deeper, something ancient, that we still don't understand? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this journey into the mysterious sands of Egypt, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you don't miss the next adventure. Thanks for watching. And remember, some doors were never meant to be opened.